Hi, this is Suhailah, and this is Grow With Me by Suhailah, the podcast. And this is episode 17, and it's titled, When Truth is Spoken, Reality Shifts. When Truth is Spoken, Reality Shifts. Now, this episode is based on a dream I had just 2 nights ago, a nighttime dream. Dreams are a huge part of my life. It is like the left side of my body, right and left, or pick a side. It's just a huge part of me. Dreams are my guides. My dreams are my guide. They heal me, they guide me, they show me where I am in relationship to myself, my journey, my healing journey, my awakening journey, my life journey. It shows me where I am in relationship to other people. It shows me the world stage sometimes. I have psychic dreams. I have prophetic dreams. It's just something that has been with me for over 2 decades now. I dream about other people in my life, not everybody in my life. I don't know how the ones that I dream about are chosen, but it's been consistent. And it's usually always people I'm deeply connected to in some way, have a strong relationship with in some way, friends. I actually don't dream about family too much, strangely, but I dream about friends, people I'm deeply connected to, people I care about, love, have some type of relationship with. For some reason, I will dream about their lives separately, not in relation to me, but also in relationship to me. So I'll have dreams that will tell me what's happening with them. The first time I had a dream that I would call psychic was my manager, Lori. We were friends. We first met each other in the music industry. We both worked for RCA Records together in the marketing department that we were helping to build at the time. And Lori, I dreamt, later we became friends. And I dreamt out of nowhere that Lori got engaged. And Lori is so secretive. I'm private, but she's just super private. So I didn't even know she was dating anyone. I don't even think she had told any of us. So I'm like, ha ha ha. I had a dream you got engaged. I'm thinking it's just a joke, or I didn't know what was happening. I just thought it was funny. And this is when she admitted she was dating the man who is now her husband. I think they're about to be married 15 years. It's over 10 years. But I had this dream that she was engaged 6 months, that she was getting engaged 6 months before she actually got engaged, before I even knew she was dating the man who became her husband. And it happened exactly how I dreamt it. The second dream was so now I knew, okay, my dreams mean something, but I still didn't know how they work. And I still often don't. But the second one was my friend Lenny at Rock Nation. And I dreamt about him. And I'll keep that one private because that was something personal to his life. But by then I knew, I told him because I knew there was a possibility it could come true. And it did. But so my dreams are just a guide. They guide me. They tell me things. I don't know why. I don't know how it works. But when in my own life, I can't live without them. So this dream that I had the other night showed me so clearly that when truth is spoken, reality shifts. When truth is spoken, reality shifts. I saw it so clearly. I saw that when I spoke my truth in clarity and with alignment and with neutrality, that the entire scene changed. The entire scene. I'm sure I've had dreams like that before. You know how dreams are. You hop from one scene to the next to the next. I'm sure I have had dreams like this. But for some reason, when I woke up, I had the aha moment that that's what I was being shown. And that's what's happening in real life now. If you are paying attention, unless you are dead, literally, you know that we are going through the biggest shift humanity has ever gone through. Even if you don't know anything but what's on social media and in politics, you can see how absolutely insane it all seems, right? But if you know bigger things, and if you know spiritual things, or even if you're an astronomer and you just know planetary things, you see planets doing things that we've never seen them do before. Like in 25,000 years, in 50,000 years, there are planetary movements and alignments that no one has ever seen. So you hear a lot of people right now talking about timeline shifts. We've heard this thing, timeline shifts. And you see some people who don't know much. They may just think that means, I got a new job, I got a new man, woman, I just got married, new car, new house, I'm in a new timeline. No, that's not how it works at all. It's about frequency, it's about vibration, it's about changing the actual field that you are in so consciousness can move in. So I was shown very clearly that one of the ways that happens is when we speak our truth, your life starts to shift. It starts to shift. We can't see it like we see it in a dream. We can't see it like we see it in the dream because that's not how reality works. It doesn't just move to a completely other location and scene. But that's what begins to happen because energy starts to reorganize itself and the universe starts to say yes because it's in agreement with the choice you just made when you learn how to speak your truth, and then reality shifts. So that is what this episode is about. Let's get into it. So I have dreams. I dream a lot. Nighttime dreams. I don't mean dreams like wishes. Nighttime dreams. I can't remember if I've spoken about this in this podcast before, but I have a newsletter, Sparked by Suhailah, and the October issue was about a dream. And then the November issue, I also touch on that same dream as the foundation. And I'm going to do the same thing in December. So I know I wrote a detailed dream in my newsletter if you want to go check that out. But I don't remember if I've spoken about my dreams here. So I dream very vividly. It's been happening for at least 2 decades. I'm sure it's been happening for more than 2 decades. But I probably noticed it 2 decades ago and started to share it with other people in ways that I realized, oh, some of these dreams come true. They're psychic, right? They predict stuff. And then maybe 11, 12 years ago, 2013, I started writing them down. And it's been a practice ever since. So every day I wake up, I write my dreams down. I dream vividly the way you can describe what you did yesterday or this morning or this evening, depending on when you're listening to this, or the way I can describe what I did yesterday or today, or it's the same way I can describe my dreams. They're not bits and pieces. They're not vague. They're full-on stories the same way. It's like, so therefore I remember it in that same way. Like if you leave a movie and you could tell someone exactly what that movie was, you can tell them now, you can tell them 5 years from now what the movie was. Same thing with me. So they don't have a time lapse for me, meaning most people are like, oh, when they wake up, and even science or whoever has studied dreams will tell you that. They'll be like, you have to write your dreams down as soon as you wake up. They'll disappear in 120 seconds or all this data and stuff. It's not true for me. It's never been true for me. So I don't have to write them down immediately. I can wait a week. I can wait a month. I can wait. But I do write them down because they are so rich and so detailed that every morning or every day, even if I don't write them in the morning, I usually try to write them by the evening of the next day. It could take me an hour, sometimes 2 hours. It's like a full-on story. So one single dream, like that's how much detailed. It's literally, like I said, going to a movie theater and then coming back and trying to explain that entire movie to someone, or writing it down. That's how I dream. So I just described, it's so vivid. They're such a big part of my life. They guide me spiritually. I've accepted it as just, it's like, I remember one time I didn't dream for like a few days. And it felt like I didn't have a half of my body, literally. It felt like, if you've ever had hearing loss, like an ear infection or like swimmer's ear or anything like that, you can't hear out of that side and it sort of throws you off balance. You can hear, but not really. That's how I felt that week that I didn't dream. I felt like my entire body was off balance, like my actual equilibrium. Like I couldn't really function, like a GPS that's just gone wild. So I've just accepted them years ago. They are part of my foundation. So at this point, I just say, I have 2 states. I have a state where my eyes are open and I have a state where my eyes are closed. That's the only differentiation, because otherwise the scenery feels exactly the same to me. When I'm what we call awake, like now, when I'm recording this, I'm clearly awake. It's morning time. Versus when I sleep, those are 2 states, but for me, they look the same, right? But I am aware that I'm here right now recording this. I'm not confused that I'm not in a dream right now, although that's up for debate. I think that we are actually in a dream in this world, but that's a whole nother thing. But so that's my dream setup. So I realized that in dreams, I saw this yesterday. Today's Friday that I'm recording this, and I had a dream when I woke up Thursday, so yesterday. What I realized that in dreams or at least the dream that I had yesterday, it was so clear that when a truth is spoken, the scene shifts. It shifts completely, and I saw it very clearly yesterday in this dream. And I don't mean the scene shifts as in I'm standing one place and I see one thing in the same place that I'm standing in, and then I look to the right and I see a whole nother scene from the same place that I'm standing in. That's not what I mean when I say the scene shifts. I mean that I am transported to an entirely other place and scene. When I speak the truth, it changes. I saw it clearly. Yesterday's dream, I was standing in a doorway and it was wooden. I don't know if this was a villa. I don't know if this was where it was. If it was a restaurant, it was a very cute, quaint restaurant with like white stucco stone on the outside. There was a courtyard in front of me. It could have been like an Italian feeling, sort of beautiful or Spanish feeling sort of place that I'm standing in. So I'm standing in the doorway. I don't know what's behind me, meaning clearly I am inside the place that I'm standing in. But I don't, you know how dreams are, you land there, similar to movies, right? Dreams, it's already in motion, right? By the time your awareness is there with the dream. So in this dream, I'm in the doorway of this one-story home or restaurant. I don't know what's behind me, even though I'm clearly inside of this place, meaning I'm the one facing the door. I am the one who opened the door. I am the one who finds myself in the doorway, which is arched and wooden. I don't see myself open the door. By the time the dream starts, I'm standing in the door already. I don't know what's behind me. I don't know if that's my home. I don't know if it's a restaurant. I don't know if it's an event. But clearly, something is going on because there are two people approaching me when the dream starts. It was very clear from the dream that, again, similar to movies, you can guess what just happened before. If someone turns the corner and you see them turning the corner in a movie, you know they just turned from the other street, right? So if I see someone coming in a movie, from my perspective, coming towards me, they turn the corner and come towards me. My assumption is that they just were on the other block that they turned that corner from, right? Because now they're coming towards me. We can assume that in a movie. Same thing with my dreams. So in this dream, based on what was happening when I started dreaming or when I became aware of it or my remembrance of it, I can only assume that this man, he came to me. He must have said something prior to what I'm seeing now, because now it felt like at the start of the dream that he was coming back and a woman was with him and she was clarifying what he had said before, or maybe what I had said before. So I'm assuming I was talking to someone. Again, it seemed like I was definitely in the entryway. So it seemed like they had to come to me. I don't know. Didn't seem like a guest list situation. So I don't think I was a hostess for an event. But it clearly was that I was the one controlling access somehow to whatever was behind me. This threshold that I stood at, that I was standing in the actual house or place. And then they are coming from the outside. So it was clear that I must have spoken to a man. I must have told him something. He now comes back with the woman, clearly his friend. They didn't seem like a couple or anything. And now she's clarifying, or she thought she was going to tell me something that I didn't know. So, and it was very much her tone and her energy, for lack of better description, was very Hollywood, very LA, very New York, very, we belong here because we're VIPs, right? She was clarifying clearly in my space that I was at the threshold of, and clearly guarding the door. Clearly they had to come to me. I wasn't a guard, but clearly they had to come to me to talk to me about whatever was going to happen. So clearly I had some kind of control. This was my world, my environment, or somehow I was in charge, or I was about to be in charge, right? But clearly they had to come to me. But she was coming as in she was going to tell me how things were going to go. So she was clarifying now what the man must have said to me earlier that I didn't see. So I'm assuming me and him were talking about something and I said something to him. So he must have told her. So now they're coming back together. And she's coming very much with an attitude like, okay, well, these two people are coming together. She was talking about two other people. And one of them, who I knew very, very well, in the dream. And so she's telling me how it's going to be pretty much like, but it was all based on who they were, right? Like they're VIPs, right? That was sort of the implication. Like these two people are VIPs. Like she just had to tell me this. It was all about identity. It was all about why they were important. It was all about, she had to tell me this for reasons I don't know why. So I listened to her, which was very brief. And then I simply said what I knew. I didn't even defend. It didn't even matter what she was saying. It was neither here nor there. But I noticed that I pretty much I didn't shut her down, but I didn't defend anything. I just said what I knew to be true. I said, I know him already in the dream. No one knows him better than me, because she thought she knew this person better than me who was coming to clearly my event. And I just sort of said what I knew. It was not even, the subject matter is not important in what I'm saying. It was the clarity I held and the certainty I held when I said it, right? It wasn't a defensiveness. It wasn't me having an attitude, although I kind of was just like, ma'am, stand down. But it was just clarity. It was a self-certainty, right? I didn't need to defend what I knew. I just said what I knew. The moment that I said what I knew, the scene shifted. And I don't mean the scene shifted like I'm standing in this house, I'm looking at them, and now I look to the side and I'm looking at another scene. I mean, literally, I was shifted out of this into a whole nother place. The place that I was shifted into, the scene, was beautiful. The place where I originally was beautiful. But now I'm in a whole nother scene. It was green. There were literally plants. Literally, the whole scene seemed green and brown, because you know how branches are brown or a tree trunk is brown. There weren't trees though, but it was trees, the kind of trees you would have in your house. So tall plants, if you will, like 5 feet tall, 6 feet tall, a row of them. Everything seemed green. Everything seemed alive. Everything seemed fertile. Everything seemed beautiful. I was my same self. And then now the man that we both had been speaking about, who is actually my ex in real life, but he's a very good friend now. He was now in this new scene with me. And he wasn't there previously. She was just talking on behalf of him and saying I don't even know what she was saying. But he's now in this new scene with me, looking beautiful and handsome. His face is brown. There's nothing romantic going on between us in real life or in the dream. So it was very much the same feeling that we have in real life, which is super good friends. And he's laughing and I'm telling him what just happened. And he's like, what? Why did she say that? You should have said this. So he's egging me on and he's like, what? So it was just like the same me, but in a new scene. And I think the scene shifted because I spoke my truth. So a lot of time in real world life, especially the spiritual world, or if you follow astronomy or the planets, everyone is talking about timeline shifts. Like we shifting timelines, whether that's because of planetary alignment, whether that's we're shifting timelines in our lives. And it's this sort of abstract thing. But it's not that abstract. I think in the dream world and the real world, the moment we speak from a place of truth, the scene will shift. We can't see it because we can't see it as clearly as that dream. No world in real world, unless I knew how to just travel without an airplane or vehicle, no world would have seen shift that clearly. The dream world let me see it clearly. I'm in one place and I clearly am in an entirely new location at the blink of an eye. Went from one conversation to the next. That doesn't happen in real life. So we can't really see when we shift those timelines. But I think we can feel when we shift the timelines. And we can feel it because we just spoke our truth. And it's the kind of truth, like in that dream, it comes from a place of alignment. When I spoke to that woman, I had no need to defend myself. She was saying a whole bunch of stuff. It was neither here nor there. I stood at that threshold. I was the one who was standing at the threshold. I clearly was the one that had everything behind me, meaning they were trying to get access to wherever I was. I just spoke in full alignment. I wasn't defensive. I wasn't trying to prove myself. I wasn't trying to compete. I simply said what I had to say with clarity. And the frequency of that field changed instantly. It was like the energy reorganized itself. And I saw the energy reorganize itself in the dream state because I could see a whole new scene, new colors. So that's what it looks like when energy reorganizes itself in dream states, or at least in that dream. It's clear because the colors change, the location changes, we're suddenly somewhere else. That we can't see that change like that in the physical world. So we don't really know when we're on a new path or new timeline. But we can feel into it, and we could probably know we're in it because we spoke the truth. And I don't mean, so dream logic, it shows up immediately as a scene change, or at least in my dream yesterday. That's what I'm realizing. When we speak the truth, you will see it as a scene change. In waking life, it shows up as sudden shifts, like maybe a new person will appear in your life, new conversations. We'll have unexpected clarity out of nowhere. New invitations, things we didn't expect, new connections or reconnections. Or sometimes there's just silence for a while, but it will feel peaceful. It won't feel painful because we're going to these transitional states. So in the dream, the moment I started saying to the woman, I know him. No one knows him better than me. Like, I just stood my ground. I don't know what she was trying to do, but I just stood my ground, if you will. And it was more that I stood with self-certainty. Again, I didn't need to defend my knowing. I just said what I said. And the second I did that, the vibration stabilized and the dream had to transform, or the scene had to transform. And the next scene that I now stood in suddenly was green and it was alive. It was very heart-centered. Even my conversation with him, we have a good relationship in real life. We're really good friends. So I felt it. It was that rapport we had. We were laughing. Yeah. So it was like the same energy that I was able to hold when I spoke my truth in neutrality to that woman, dismissing her in a way. Like, what you're saying doesn't matter. I know what I know. And I held that same energy and found myself in this new scene. And I was now able, because now I'm in fertile ground, literally. I saw green everywhere. So that same vibration in this new scene is new energy, or same energy, but it's now operating at a higher octave, right? So I think that in real life, I see it a couple episodes ago of this podcast I spoke about Born to Build. It was a little bit more about my unusual business path. And I think there I mentioned that, I can't remember if I mentioned that I have a client. She's a founder of a startup. It's a luxury organic hair care beauty brand. And I sit as fractional chief brand officer. So we do a lot of meetings together, her and I. And I noticed this in real life as well. So a lot of times when we're making decisions around this whole, say, 6, 7, 8 months, the last 6, 7, 8 months of this year, whenever we make a decision out of clarity, meaning we know what our values are, we know what we stand for, we know we're not going to do this or we are going to do this, right? So, for instance, we once were talking to a chemist. It was her former chemist. We just had some clarifying questions. It wasn't accusatory. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do with the ingredients, product development. And I had a series of questions because I was newer on the brand. So we asked this woman these questions. Literally, the moment she got the email, she canceled the meeting we were about to have. Literally, the meeting was 5 or 10 minutes out. It had been planned for like a week or two. And we set these questions right before, based on what I was feeling that I wanted to know. The woman canceled the meeting. She didn't tell us. Literally, in that moment, 5, 10 minutes before the call, we get a cancellation. This Zoom meeting has been canceled. She never said a word, right? Clearly, she was not prepared for the level of questions I had or that we had. So in that moment, the field collapsed, if you will, right? The old timeline collapsed. The old timeline collapsed because we spoke our truth in asking a question that this woman clearly could not stand in the same field as us. So her response to that was to disappear and to cancel a meeting. Now, of course, we were not going to do business with her anymore, even if she showed back up, because the way she handled that. But that's an example of when we are super clear. There was no defensiveness. We were not trying to prove ourselves. It was simply clarity. But that clarity of asking that question made the person who could not stand with that same clarity, that let us know who she was immediately, right? She could not stand. She could not even meet us in that clarity. So her response was to cancel a meeting. So that's what it looks like when a field collapses, right? So it collapsed. And that's the part most of us can't deal with. We can't deal with the collapse that's going to happen after we say our truth, because it's always going to collapse. But if we stay open to it, we'll realize that the energy is reorganizing itself. The old timeline has now collapsed because they weren't built on anything real, clearly. It was built on distortion or misunderstanding. But whatever the case may be, it collapsed now because we came with such clarity that whoever's standing there with us, they can't stand there with us if they can't meet us at that clarity. So we have to let the field collapse, because it will. It's going to look like confusion for a second. In the example I'm giving with my client and this chemist, this manufacturer, that looked like a collapse immediately. We could have freaked out. This was our actual manufacturer. She had been doing this for my client for 4 years. She wasn't new. And this series of questions made her disappear. So I think that was just a distorted field to begin with, a misunderstanding. Who knows? She clearly did not have faith in whatever she was doing, because her response was to cancel that meeting without even telling us. And we found out because we saw the Zoom cancellation, because we were all about to get on Zoom. But for us, what happened was a new timeline emerged. A new timeline emerged. And it came with us now really thinking, what do we really need in a manufacturer now? What do we really need in a chemist? What do we really need in our ingredients? So all of these new conversations came of that, all this unexpected clarity, all of these invitations, even though it looked like us, okay, who's the next manufacturer? How do we find them? Where do they need to be located? Do we want them in this country? Do we want them in another country? Do we want them in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut? Do we want them in LA? Do we want them in Florida? It came with all of this new conversation, but really it was that unexpected clarity in that moment, right? It was unexpected clarity. We didn't know that those series of questions were going to send us on this broader mission that gave us even clearer goals. So that's what I mean by unexpected clarity. We got super clear in that moment. And not only in that moment, it continued to evolve. And then new things happened, invitations and reconnections or connections. And it was quiet for a while because we had to figure out what to do. Quiet on the outside, meaning we didn't have anybody in place yet, a new manufacturer. But that's what it looks like. And that's what the dream showed me. It showed me that the moment that I said what I said in clarity, the scene changed. And in waking life, like I said, it manifests as sudden shifts. But we got to withstand the collapse and realize that the collapse is just creating fertile ground for a new timeline. And I think that happens when truth is spoken from alignment. We're not defensive. We're not trying to prove ourselves. It's literally just clarity. The frequency of our field changes instantly. The energy reorganizes itself. I saw it in the dream. And then the old times lines collapse because they were built on distortion. And a new timeline can emerge that matches the vibration of that truth. And we stand there now in this higher octave. So we're changing in the moment that we speak the truth. That moment changes us, and it changes the environments that we stand in. And now we have that same energy, but it's in this new scene, in this new timeline, on a higher octave. I hope this makes sense. This is my first time trying to explain what I saw so clearly in a dream. But I think it represents fertile ground the field becomes fertile. It's neutral. It's alive. Because there's no tension and there's no seeking and there's no withholding. It's an outer reflection of an inner peace. When we're able to speak our truth like that, with none of those distortions. When I say distortions, I mean defensiveness, trying to prove ourselves. So it could still feel, for the person listening, so this happens to me a lot. People think, oh, you're so direct. And I think some people have a hard time being direct. It's easy for me to say what most people think are the hard things because I'm neutral about it. So even if I'm saying things that I'm neutral, meaning I'm not defensive, I just lay it down. I'm not trying to prove anything. It's simple clarity. It's not even, I'm neutral. I truly am. Even if it's about me, if it's about business, I can say all of these things that to the person listening can feel highly charged, can feel emotional, because they're important to me. And they could have a lot of detail in them. So they seem super important to me, like with the work with the chemist. But if I'm just saying it plain and I'm not defensive, I'm not trying to prove anything, I just simply talking with clarity, then people can think that it's hard for me to say it, but it's not hard. It doesn't feel like labor to me because I'm so neutral about it. And on the other side, the person can literally just say yes or no. And I think that happens with our energetic field. It can just say yes or no. And you can't control that. The truth is the thing that controls it. It's the frequency we say it in that controls it. The yes, I'm in agreement with this, will get you in a new place. When the universe responds to your truth, it will say yes. And you will know it says yes because it will get you in a new place, a better place. You won't see it the way I saw it in the dream from one scene to the next, because that's not how life works. But you'll feel it, and that's what is meant by a new timeline. You'll start to see, oh, I'm on a new timeline. Had I stayed over there, living not in my truth, half truth, hiding behind my truth with all of these reasons, because the truth is always there. We just distort it with all of this stuff in front of it. We have to say all of this other stuff to just say what we really mean. We have to defend. We have to have evidence. We have to prove. We have to have a list. We have to rehearse. But the truth is there. We know what we're getting at. We just do all of this other stuff before it. So that's what I mean, the distorted part. We have to just get that distortion out of there and just speak the truth, and the universe will respond. The universe will respond with a yes, I'm in agreement. And I'm in an agreement. I'm so much in agreement that I'm going to put you over here. In this new place, in this new timeline, with these new people, with these new opportunities. And the world just opens up. It just opens up with such clarity. It's like just seeing as far as the horizon. Whereas before, you could just see the wall right in front of you, 5 feet. You couldn't even see beyond it. So that's what I think that dream was showing me, that when the truth is spoken, the scene always shifts. And I think that is what we have to understand we're talking about when we talk about the timeline spiritually of this new earth that we're building. If you're a spiritual person, you've probably heard the language of a new earth. Someone could be on the old earth and someone can be on the new earth. And it doesn't mean that there are two earths. It means that I'm standing in truth and someone else is not over there. So we're having two different experiences on the same planet. And that's the world we're living in right now. So I hope this makes sense. I'm going to listen back. I hope it makes sense to me. I've never tried to explain my dreams to someone else. I usually know what they mean because a lot of times they're psychic, meaning they're predicting something. But this is more symbolic and spiritual that I'm speaking now, and energetic and frequency and vibration. So I hope it's understood. Thank you for listening. If you are interested in journeying with me a little bit further or a little bit longer, there are a few ways that you can do that. One of the ways is my leadership course. It is called Feminine Leadership, Leading from the Inside Out. It is a mini course. It is self-guided. It is soft. It is gentle. It is easy. You can do it anywhere. It's a PDF. You can download it. It is not the traditional leadership language mumbo jumbo. It's not heavy hitting. It's not heavy. It's not heady. And it's easy to download, and it's on Gumroad. So wherever you are listening to this podcast, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Podcast, wherever you are, in every episode you will see an episode description. Beneath the description, down below, but before you get to my bio, which is all the way at the bottom, between those two areas, you will see a bunch of links. Amongst those links is the link for Feminine Leadership, Leading from the Inside Out. You can click there. It will take you to Gumroad, and you can download it right now. It's priced at $37. Quick and simple, easy, breezy. If you're interested, check it out. I also have a book, Awaken the Brand by Suhailah, Unleash Your Personal Potential Through Building Your Brand. I like to say this book is personal development meets brand development, powered by spiritual intelligence. So whether you have an actual business brand or just a personal brand that's also a business, or just a personal brand that's just you. I define a brand as a promise. So whatever that is for you, it does not have to be a business that is a business where you are generating money or trying to generate money. It's just about how we show up in the world through our businesses, through our brand. I'm really using brand as a path to higher consciousness. That's really what it is. I'm using business and brand as a path to higher consciousness. I use that word because it's something that everybody understands, but it really literally is also a business and brand book. So however you want to look at it, however you're approaching it, whether it's for yourself personal, whether it's for yourself because you actually have a personal brand like you're a public speaker, or whether you're a thought leader and you actually are building a personal brand, or that is your business, or whether you have an actual product service brand. It's for everybody. So you can also check that down below. I have another course. It's also called Awaken the Brand. It's what the book came from. The course came first. The book came second. So you can check that out below. That's on Teachable and Gumroad as well. And then I have a newsletter called Spark by Suhailah, and it is on Substack. Those are all of my offerings. If you're interested in any of them, you will find them below. Have a wonderful day. Sending you light and love.